What up, y'all? Welcome to Cooking with Quiana, the hip shaking mama Lynell. Pull up, let's have a kiki. Now listen, we are here in the middle of champagne summers, trying to keep our health and fitness goals at the forefront of our mind. Our recipe for today is Quiana's Supa Toscana. All right, pull up, y'all. Let me get you into this recipe. So this is one of my favorite things and my family's favorite things to eat. All right. So my daughter will tell you that I hijacked this recipe from Olive Garden and added my own stuff. And that is the truth. Let me turn this fan off for a second. All right. So let's get into this recipe. Okay. So our Supa Toscana is an Italian soup with, we have our dry ingredients here: green kale. I've added some white beans, Italian sausage, my smoked turkey neck, some bacon. My vegetables include some bell pepper, celery, green onion, garlic, onion, shallot, carrots, and green onions as well as some garlic. All right. So let's get into this soup. My prep work is going to include cutting my potatoes and my smoked turkey neck. First of all, let me give you a cheers to your champagne summer, all right? So this summer, I've dedicated to not drinking hard liquor. Let me tell you, I live in South Louisiana. You know how easy it is to have a drink? A drink? It's so easy to have a drink. But I'm not drinking hard beverages. But I'm having a champagne summer because I'm trying to sit by the pool, sit on the beach, chill with my boo, with a little bubbly while I'm still meeting my fitness goals. Okay, so cheers to you on your champagne summer. If you need a little help how to open a champagne bottle, go back to one of my other videos. I really hook my ladies up so you can be nice and dainty with your opening game. All right, let's get into these vegetables. Got my cutting board here. We're gonna take our potato and I'm going to get my handy dandy trash bucket. Okay, before we do this though, let me get into this soup. Let me teach you guys. We're gonna come back to this potato. So this recipe has a nice navy bean, right? So this is a dried bean, and this is how they come, all small. So what you're gonna do, this recipe does take some forethought. All right, this isn't something you come home thinking I'm gonna cook when I get off of work and eat tonight. You have to do a little prep. This is a weekend. I want to do some soup, but it's worth the time. Okay. So you're going to take your dried beans. I took a cup of my dried beans and you're going to place them in some water for about an hour and a half. And this bean is going to rehydrate into this bean, right? Now, what does that do, Quiana? That takes your cook time down, right? Because you would have to, if you wanted to cook this in your pot, you'd have to cook it for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because I've rehydrated the bean by soaking it, now when I put it in my pot, it's still going to take an hour and a half, but it won't take 3 hours, okay? All right, so we've already got our beans soaking. Then we're going to take these beans that are already soaked, drain them. And we're going to put them to cook, right? Immediately. That's the first thing we want to do. How am I going to cook that? I'm going to take my smoked turkey neck, right? You can get this from your local, I live in the parish. So that means all my grocery stores have smoked meat. We have smoked pig parts, smoked turkey parts, smoked whatever you need smoked, they got it, okay? So you get a little package of smoked meat. Now, I don't want to cook this whole turkey neck. So the turkey neck has vertebrae, okay? So I'm just going to feel where those are. And I'm going to take my knife and pop through that to make this smaller, okay? Because I like to eat a turkey neck. We want that meat to break down in our soup. Now, you can only do that with a sharp knife. You don't want to be stressing it. When you are working really hard, that's how accidents happen. So your Q-tip gets you a nice, sharp instrument. instrument. If your knife gets dull, what do? You keep a handy dandy knife sharpener, right? If it's getting a little dull, wash that thing off. I got turkey on my hands. I'm trying to be nice and clean, right? Wash it off. And this is my blade sharpener. I'm just gonna pass it through each of these places a couple times. And that keeps my knife cutting everything I need to cut, okay? Pull up, baby. I'm gonna get you right, okay? All right. So this is the most important part again. I'm gonna take my turkey, smoked turkey, in my pot. Put a little olive oil. I'm gonna toss these beans that are rehydrated, my cup of beans, and 2 cups of water. And I'm gonna let that cook. Beans have to cook. Like, it's nothing worse than having a bland pot of beans. Like, people don't understand. Like, we're gonna make a soup, but the bean has to have a protein with a salty or a smoky flavor to infuse into that, the meat of it, right? The bean has a meaty part and it has to have flavor, right? I'm also gonna put a little salt in that water, all right? Now today's recipe is gonna probably be the heaviest salting that you'll ever hear me do. And that's because the whiter your dish, the more salt it requires. Okay, so this is a cream and potato based soup. So potatoes are starchy. You have to season the starch. Just like we talked about rice, you have to season rice. Potatoes, you got to season potatoes. Okay, so we are going to put some salt in this dish to season those potatoes. Let me rinse this cutting board off. Again, good kitchen behavior, because that was a turkey neck and we don't want that on our veggies just yet. All right. I'm so glad you guys tune in to come cook with me today. We about to have a key, okay? All right. We're gonna take our potatoes. If you don't know how to peel a potato, this is how my grandmama showed me, okay? I've got my trash bucket here. I'm gonna take off just the round. I'm gonna inspect my potatoes and make sure there aren't any like brown or gray spots on there. You'll just need to pull those off, okay? I like to leave some skin on my potato for this soup. When it cooks, you'll just be able to taste it. It's like, so just another little texture. If you don't like the skin, cut it all off. It doesn't matter, okay? Then I'm gonna take these potatoes and cut them into little spheres here, little discs, almost like you were making au gratin potatoes, right? You want it to be about 1/3 of an inch thick. Make sure you keep your fingers away from that blade, right? All right. You don't have to be super particular. You don't want them too thin, because once we cook them, some of the potatoes are going to fall apart, but you want your potatoes to keep their shape, right? So if you make them too thin, the potatoes will end up just disintegrating in your soup. So make sure that you have a nice thick potato there. Like if you were to bite into it, it's like thick enough, like you'd have to bite it. It wouldn't just disintegrate in your mouth. All right, so then we're going to take those potatoes and wash your potatoes. Right? All of your ingredients and how much of everything will be linked in the comment section. So head over to the recipe to find that. All right. Then we are going to chop our celery. I've never showed y'all celery before, okay? Your celery comes with this nice leafy and an indent right there. Just chop that leafy part off. Discard of it. Also chop off the white part at the end. I've already washed this celery. You do want to pass it through your water, okay? I'm gonna cut the celery in half. Every soup that you cook has these main ingredients, your mise en place for soup. Carrots, celery, onions, parsley, right? Every soup. Soups are something that need layers of texture. I mean, layers of flavor, if that makes sense, right? So you're not gonna, this celery is gonna cook down to a point where you won't even know that it was physically in there. And you won't really be able to taste celery. But because it's a soup, you want that flavor, okay? My chefs, y'all know, people who eat, y'all know, you could taste the difference, okay? Fresh ingredients taste different, right? I've got my green onion, or is what some people call scallions. I'm just chopping those. What else did I say? I think that's all I need to chop. If you're Hip Shaking Mama approved, you've already seen me process the rest of these vegetables. I'm not gonna bore you with that today. We've got our garlic going in the pot, our shallots going in the pot, carrots going in the pot. My favorite little garlic press. Let me go and pop my little garlic out here. And we're about to head to the pan, okay? Your Q-tip. Why do I always prepare my vegetables before I go? It's nothing like getting to your pan and you like, oh, I forgot something. That's happened before. I know y'all, if you watched the last, you was like, Quiana, you didn't have your stuff together. No, I didn't. You have to prepare. Prepare. If you stay prepared, you don't have to get ready. Ain't that the way it goes? Something like that. Okay, stay prepared. Grasshopper, do your job. That's all you got to do. Don't have to do nobody else's job but your own. That's what the old folks say, you know. She's one of those old folks these days. I could be somebody's grandma. Oh, Jesus. Deliver me. Thank God I'm not. Okay. All right, we about to go to the pan, y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to go to the pan? Let's go on over to this pan. All right, y'all. We are at the stove, okay? We have our white beans with our turkey necks rolling. I'm going to pop in now 2 bay leaves and turn that down to a simmer, okay? We are eventually going to add this over to our soup. But like I said, these beans need to cook and soften completely. I don't want to get this in the pot and the beans are still trying to cook and they're not soft. Like I need them to be soft, all right? One pot over here. Okay, I'm going to take my skillet, nice medium high heat. Pop that with your favorite EVOO, about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, okay? And my root things are going in first. So my shallots, what's a root thing? Something that grows underground. We want to give that more time on the heat. My shallots, my onion, my carrots, and then I'm going to pop my bell peppers in there, okay? Again, we have some nice red bell peppers this week. That's going to give a nice, beautiful color in our soup, okay? These things don't have to cook down to like a brown. They're just going to get a little soft, okay? Always, when you put your veggies in that pot, you're going to hit it with a little salt. Just a dash, a little sprinkle, a smidge. Right? I'm pouring my salt in my hand, pre-measuring, sprinkle, 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 right? I'm actually going to use all of that because I did a great job that time, right? And we're going to let that come together for about 5 minutes. So going to add in my celery, my green onion, and my parsley. Okay, again, this is creating the stock for my soup. A soup stock, you want your soup like, you know, you're drinking the liquid. How is the liquid gonna taste like something worth putting in your mouth? You know, you've got to build your flavor profile. Build your flavor profile. It's real orange in here, okay? Because we've got lots of vegetables. Your Q-tip, you know, I'm always trying to sneak in some vegetables. Sneak in some macronutrients for your family to keep your eyes. Carrots are good for your eyes, your skin. You're going to feel good, okay? Soup makes you Just makes you feel good, okay? This is a great meal to make. Like if you've had a couple of birthday parties or the holidays just passed and you're trying to get your family, like, we need to eat something that's gonna get us back nutritious. Like sometimes life gets busy and you might have football tournaments or basketball tournaments and you've been away from home for 4 or 5 days. Plan for that. Like it's okay to eat out and do those things. That's your 20% for the month though. That's 5 days. It's only 30 in the month. You can't wild out 5 days every week. Let's think globally here, okay? So your Q-tip is, we had a wild out week. We about to eat good this week, y'all. I'm gonna make some soup. I'm gonna put some things in the refrigerator where we can have food to eat, where you don't have to think about it, okay? So here's our Quiana's Supa Toscana. All right, so we're ready to put our protein. I've got some bacon that I've chopped up. Again, we're building a flavor profile for our soup. That is an extra level of salt that you're not gonna like, you need it. You need it. You could use pancetta, but I just like to use just a regular, that's just 1 piece of bacon, okay? 1 or 2 pieces of bacon. Then I'm gonna put my hot Italian sausage, okay? Your favorite brand. Put that in there. And I'm going to separate that up so that it can ground my ground meat. All right, this is gonna be the meat that you taste in your soup. So you don't want it to just be big old chunks. You wanna break it down so that you have a nice bite in your soup, okay? Because we are going for the protein, all right? Now, one of the things that I did to make this soup a little more hearty for my family is I added this white bean. You do not have to do the white beans, okay? You can make this soup just like this in this one pot without adding the white beans. Now, what the white beans add for you are more fiber, and it's gonna make it more hearty. So if you eat soup, you know, you might be hungry. If you got some big men or some teenage boys, they'll be like, Mom, I'm still hungry. But if you add these beans, that's gonna sit on their ribs, baby, okay? So you have a nice potato, kale, carrots, your white beans, that turkey meat is gonna fall off those bones, baby. This is a winner, it's a winner. All right, so I've got this meat broken up. I'm gonna turn that heat to about a medium high and let it cook. Where my ladies at? Where my ladies at? Say, let her cook. Let her cook. Come on, ladies. Where my hip shaking mamas? Y'all pull up. Tell me how y'all feel today. Tell me if you tried this recipe. Now, I need you to let somebody know. You have somebody in your life that's trying to get their life together, that needs an all-natural BBL, okay? Now, it starts in the kitchen. Let me come back to y'all while this is cooking. Pull up. We about to have this is where we have a little kiki, okay? Let me get my drink. You listening? You listening? Okay, I've been telling y'all it starts in the kitchen. That's not where it ends, okay? If you need a little more help, if you've been cooking good and you've been eating at home and you still are not seeing the muscle definition or the toning that you need somebody to help you, okay? It's nothing wrong with finding somebody, a trainer, a dietitian, a doctor, something to help you just get over that hump. It's a little hump, right? Life is you have these plateaus and you're like, okay, I've been doing good. Why am I not reaching this next level? Because you don't know how. You don't know how to get there. You ain't never been there. Ask somebody for some help, okay? So if you doing good and you're like, I don't know, you'd be surprised what 6 to 12 weeks with a professional can enhance your life. Y'all pull up. I'm gonna give you the tips and the tricks. We having a kiki tonight. Cheers. Champagne Summers, baby. All right, so I'm just breaking this meat up again so that we have nice ground chunks to digest when we're eating our soup. If you leave the meat cooking, it'll be just one clump of meat, and you don't want that. You got to break it up while it's raw, okay? Let it cook. I got to do it when I do this. Hey, let it cook. I'm going to take my spoon. I'm going to take a couple of those beans out, right? And I'm going to press it. Okay, so it pressed on my spoon. I'm putting it in my mouth. It's soft. Okay, there's no hard core in the middle. That means when I put it in my soup, we about to, it's salted. My water's got that nice smoky flavor. That bay leaf is doing the bay leaf, baby. Cheers, boo. Again, this is an extra step. This is for the advanced hip shaking mamas. If you can only work one pot at a time, stick with the one pot. You don't have to put these beans. But I'm trying to tell you, if you're trying to lose a little, if that gut is it's a little thick, it's because your macros are not matching your work in the gym. If you're going to the gym 4 or 5 days, 3 days a week, and you're leaving out sweaty and you know that you're burning, you got your watch on and you like, I burned 1,800, 1,200 calories, but ain't nothing changing in the way your clothes fit. Get in the kitchen, baby. Get in the kitchen. Okay. All right, so my ground sausage is brown. I'm gonna hit this with all right, y'all, we're back at our pot. My Italian sausage has now come together. I'm putting my paprika, basil, onion powder, my Creole seasoning, my cayenne pepper, some oregano leaves, and I've got some, this is a soup bouillon, okay? I'm not adding chicken broth, I'm adding this chicken bouillon. So I'm gonna add water, okay? But all that dry seasoning goes in my pot right now. I'm gonna give that a good stir. And then I'm gonna add, shaking mamas, you know the drill. When you drop your things in your pot, it's time to take care of something in your kitchen so that you're not looking silly when you're trying to eat. You feel me? You feel me? Because you know you're gonna wanna eat. Take a moment, go sit with your family, talk about their day, ask them some questions, make them talk to you. They will be gone before you know. They'll be gone before you know. I miss my... Stop playing with y'all. Anyways, take a moment and be with your family, okay? All right, so we've got our meat, water combined, right? As soon as it starts to bubble, I'm gonna pop my potatoes in there. If you look at these beans, baby, when they say roll that beautiful bean footage, listen, those turkey necks have started. The meat, see the meat done came off the turkey neck. It's just sitting in that water. So I'm gonna take my bay leaf out, okay? Because it did its job. And I'm gonna slide that beautiful bean juice and all right in that pot, okay? Right in that pot, baby. That soup about to be hitting, okay? And we're gonna let that sit. Again, we said this is a recipe that's gonna take you some time, all right? Cover that, let it do its job on a nice medium heat. Pull up, we are back at our stove. So our soup has been coming together. You see here, it's bubbling like vigorously, okay? Once you have this vigorous boil, you're gonna let that drop our potatoes in there, right? Our potatoes are not gonna take long. Ooh, be careful when you do this. They're not gonna take long to cook once we pop them in there because that water is bubbling, okay? Give that a stir. Bro, I always drop my... It's an abomination. That's when you know you need to slow down. That's what I have to tell my daughter. Slow down, Quiana. Be worth the wait. Be worth the wait. Because when you rush, you got to do it twice. See? All right. Take your time. Drop my potatoes in. I'm going to follow those potatoes with my heavy cream. Follow that with my Parmesan, my Romano, and my mozzarella cheese, all right? And we're gonna let that, let it cook. Okay? Now, some of you may want to take those turkey necks out of there. I like them. I'm from the parish. I like to have a little piece of meat in my bowl. But that's me. You can take that out of there. It's no problem. All right. Those potatoes are going to come together. Last thing I'm going to drop in there is my kale. Right in that pot. I'm going to put one more sprinkle of salt because why? I just put all those potatoes in there and they need a little help. All right. That is it. I'm going to give that a little press. Baby, you see that right there? That is goodness. We're going to cover that up and let it come together on a medium high heat for about 20-25 minutes. Baby, pull up. Listen, welcome back to Quiana's Kitchen. We are here with Quiana's Supa Toscana. Okay, this is my plate on Olive Garden's famous Supa Toscana. This has been coming together. I'm going to turn this down to a low, right? So the last thing we did was we added our kale, our potatoes. At this point, our potatoes are nice. I'm going to give you a how you know it's ready. Your potatoes are going to be tender, okay? Tender means I can poke it with the fork. We're going to pray. Yeah, see how that fork goes through there? That means that potato is cooked. You can also look at the potato and it'll be light and lighter around this outside and darker in the middle. That means the middle still needs to cook some more, right? So this is ready. I would honestly cook it for maybe about 15-20 more minutes because I like my potatoes to start to break apart. If you see, all these potatoes are still whole, but we're going to taste it because the flavors is there, okay? And it's going to cook a little bit more. We're going to leave that on the stove. But here we go. Get down in that pot. Get all of those beautiful. Again, I like a good turkey neck. That potato's falling apart. Get a piece of this meat. Put a little more juice on there. And I'm going to finish that off with a little Romano cheese. Like a little Salt Bay. See that right there? Bow, bow, bow. Huh, huh. Come on, y'all. Let's go see that. Pull up, y'all. Let's have a kiki. It's your girl, Quiana, the hip shaking mama. We are closing out today's episode with our taste test, all right? This is your famous Olive Garden Supa Toscana, but this is Quiana's Supa Toscana, okay? We've got all of our vegetables, our kale, our potatoes are nice and tender. Nothing like some nice hot soup. You feel that? Oh, you can't really feel it. It's so warm going down my throat. It just feels like happiness, The sausage, the little bacon piece I have in here, the turkey, the smokiness. This soup is so rich in flavor. Like I'm just inviting you. Don't take a journey down this yellow brick road. You will not be disappointed, okay? Pull up, y'all. Take a moment. Go over, like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone that you know is a hip shaking mama in training, in hiding. Baby, come on out. Pull up. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. I said cheers to you because it's champagne summer and we having a kiki, baby. Pull up. Thank you for joining me at Quiana's Kitchen. I hope you enjoy your recipe. Share with your family. Tell me how. Do it, give it, let it, let it, let it, let it leave. Oh, I'm lovely, but ever don't lay. I wanna tell you a story, baby. Sit down, baby. You're gonna need some time for this one. If you would you please come walk my way, I'd look right at you and say, there's something you got, baby, come and twiddly diddly me, yeah. Just like that, baby, just like that, daddy.